Starting the first week of July, some TV channels are changing. The following channel numbers are changing and are moving to our digital-only platform. Customers will need a TV with a QAM tuner and must do a channel scan. C-SPAN 1 and 2 are moving during the first week of July, and BBTV and Troy University are moving during the second week of July. The following are the new channel numbers for our analog platform in all Troy cable regions and are moving in the third week of July. To see the new Troy Cable digital TV lineup, you will need to program your TV or the channels may not be viewable. To do this, go into the TV's menu and select Setup or Settings, then select an option similar to Channel Search or Auto Program, and the TV will automatically begin to search for all available digital channels. If your TV does not have a built-in QAM tuner or you are having other issues, please call any Troy Cable office for assistance. Thank you for being part of the Troy Cable family.
Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. My name is Bill Rice Jr. I'm also joined by Coach Forrest Lee.
Good morning.
And calling in from Panama City Beach, Florida is the founder of Today in LA, Mike Amos. And I hope I have Michael Amos on the other line as well. Good morning, Mike.
Yeah, I'm calling in this morning.
All right, so a double dose of Amos.
With a happy 4th of July. Let's hear from a guy this morning.
All right. Here, we've got a new regular on our show. His name is Ray Charles. Perhaps you've heard of him. And in honor of America's birthday, we let Ray sing this song for us. Sing it, Ray. Sing it, Ray. All right, that's I don't think Russia doesn't have a song that good, do they?
No, they don't. No, they
Back
don't.
in the USSR?
Well, I think. Well, that was first by the Beatles, of course.
You know how there's a lot of signatures, and that's something we can play with this morning. Signature songs. Well, that was Ray Charles' signature song right there.
No, that is
Ray Charles had a lot of songs.
his signature song was Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia.
You're exactly right. You're right. But Ray was singing that song this morning. We appreciate it. Good happy 4th of July to all of you out there. Don't forget the giant fireworks display Troy puts on every 4th of July, and that'll be at 9 o'clock from Veterans Memorial Stadium in Troy. No better place anywhere to watch fireworks. Wouldn't you agree, Ryan?
Yeah, fantastic. We had Dan Smith on the show yesterday, and he said it's going on as usual. First fireworks will launch at 9 o'clock sharp, Saturday, July 4th. So our family's going to be there. I bet you'll be watching too, Forrest.
Somewhere. But going back to United States history, 50 years after the signature of the Declaration of Independence on the 4th of July, two presidents, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, died within hours on the 50th anniversary
Isn't that something?
on
Yeah.
the 4th of July in 1826.
Thomas Jefferson was one of my favorites. He was real innovative, no question. Listen, I need a few seconds to make an apology. I've been doing this show for 22 years, and about half those years I've been coming to you live on our Troy Cable network. I made a statement yesterday on my show that Pete Farrah had died. Well, Pete Farrah is one of my favorite all-time people, and he's in a nursing home in Montgomery. And I for some reason, I got information from my church then to pray for the Pete Barra family. Well, I took it as if Pete Barra had died, and I made that statement, and we honored Pete Barra over and over on our show. He's one of my all-time favorite people, no question about it. One of my role models of all time. And he is alive and well, living in Montgomery, and I made that mistake, and I want to apologize not only to his family and his friends, but all the folks out there that love Pete Barra. And he is still alive, and like Rice would say, he's still alive and kicking. And we appreciate him very much, and we love his family. And again, my apologies that I'd make a statement like that without.
Well, we're sorry too, but we understand how that could happen, and we're quite happy we're wrong. You know, I've done that before, Mike. I remember one time I wrote a story. I think I did a 10-year retrospective of the 1980 state championship football team. 10 years after they won it, I was sports editor at the Messenger at the time. I did a big spread, you know, talking to the coaches and the players 10 years after about their memories. And I think in that story, I said, and one former player has since passed away. Somebody told me that. And he, of course, had not passed away.
Exactly.
Well, everybody wants to hear their eulogy while they're alive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people have funerals for themselves before they die. So.
Well, this guy, I'll tell you what, it was Melvin Hampton. He had a great sense of humor about it. He's a fine guy.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can have Pete on the show next week. That'd be a good show.
Well,
I tell you what, he's one of the great people of all time. Like you said, he came here from Phoenix City to go to college, and he stayed in Troy all those years and raised a beautiful family, beautiful girls, and great people. And again, one of my all-time favorite people. I had him leaving us before his time, and like I told a good friend of mine the other day, he was telling me, and then he had on Facebook that his time has come. Well, let me tell you this: only the Lord Jesus Christ knows that your time has come, and will let you know when that time has come. What do you think?
I think you're right. That's right.
Get ready.
Jackson, all you folks that love fireworks, Troy's as good a place as you can be anywhere in this country. Now, it's not going to be like New York where the fireworks just go on and on and on and on. But 20 minutes of all fireworks, that's a lot of fireworks.
And it's a big grand finale. I hadn't seen it in a long time until last year. Mike, you know, I was away from Troy for about 12, 15 years. And so we came back, and last year we took the kids, and I was blown away by how good it was. It was better than any fireworks I've seen because I was right under the fireworks. My location was so good.
Well, Troy's got a good. They use a nationwide company comes in and does their fireworks, and it should be as good as you're gonna find anywhere in this part of the country. And hopefully, a lot of folks will come out. Or just go out in the yard, right? You probably could go out in that little pasture next to your house and probably see it all from there. You
could. It's like you can hear the sounds of the South and practicing in Hillcrest.
And I can hear this sound right now going on Saturday night around 9:30. Run, Forrest, run! Run, Forrest, run!
I'm not going to tell everybody where I watch it because I think I've got the best spot, and I don't want anybody to take it from me.
You know, I was reading an article about delaying high school football season. They're talking about delaying in Tennessee, Mississippi, Michigan. They're talking about possibly delaying down here in Florida as far as when they're even able to start practicing. And you know, it's one of those type things we talked about yesterday with some of these high school programs. Financially, can't even afford to pay for equipment or pay for jerseys, uniforms, whatever kind of, you know, things they need for an upcoming year until they have gate and revenues, you know, for fans attending games. this is pretty interesting to see what's going to happen here. You know, I can see colleges starting on time because financially they can afford it, but some of these high schools, especially some of these smaller high schools, could be interesting to see if anybody plays at all this year.
It's up in the air as far as I can tell. And it's all the coverage of
1,000 cases yesterday.
It's all the emphasis on cases, and and everybody in my mind, they're just seeing cases as meaning, oh, these people are sick. They're laid up in bed or they're going in the hospital. When 90% of these quote unquote cases, maybe more than that, are asymptomatic. But
the numbers is what's killing them now. Though I mean, if you see over 50,000 cases in July. Now that's going to scare everybody.
Well,
not many people are dying at all. It's just those numbers are going to scare everybody.
Well, it's just largely a function of the number of tests have gone up 10-fold, 20-fold.
Now, let me ask you this: that new place in Troy, there's a new place in Troy where you can get tested free. Is that right?
It's right there by Jack's, the old parts store.
That's right. Yeah,
I can't think of
that place.
I can't think of the name of it right offhand, but they're testing for free from what I understand, and I believe they're open this week.
Yeah,
but I'll have to investigate that.
They're advertising that you can get tested free. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if you go there, get tested, go to 2 other places here in Troy where they all come out the same results.
There's a testing place down here at the beach that you can find out your results within 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I might go get it done while I'm down here because I'd like to know, tell you the truth.
Going back to the high school, I heard one of the coaches say, they kind of wish they'd get away from this region where you're playing 8 people and you're traveling all over the country. Go ahead and go back to an area, then you can play locally. Let's just take Goshen, for example. They could play, they may already have them, but Luverne, Highland Home, New Brockton, play closer to home and still have those little 3 or 4 area games. And
but what's that have to do with containing the virus, though? Whether you play in Ayrton?
Well, you talk about money. You talk about the money,
okay.
The gates. But then you got to have money to clean your equipment on a daily basis, especially when you put your helmets and shoulder pads on. What I used to do, I'd make my kids, on days we weren't going to use pads, I made my kids, we'd bring those shoulder pads out in the sun and get them that air, that burnt, get some
fresh
heat
air,
to it and clean them up.
That kills viruses,
it was.
I'm gonna use a little slang. Some people might get me wrong here when I talk about that. Back when I was playing football, one of the most valuable pieces of equipment was what they call a jock strap or a jockey strap, where you had to wear that thing or you'd be in trouble. Jockey straps don't even exist anymore. They're called girdles.
Yeah, they don't issue those anymore as girdles.
I know girdles, and let me tell you this: where in baseball, catchers used to use what they call a cup, a hard plastic cup for protection. We're talking about catchers. Well, now everybody on the team wears a cup, and now 50% of the football players wear a cup. Times have changed, haven't they? From a dirty jockey strap to
when I woke up this morning and
I never heard of football players wearing a cup.
Well,
they do.
Now,
they do.
even
None of them do, yeah.
I'll go ahead and say this: when I was in the middle school, I required my players to have a jockey strap, and I explained the biological reason why. Because when you're hot and you're running, that part is supposed to be 2 degrees cooler.
Yeah.
And when you're hot and you got to keep it close so you don't strain stuff, and that's how I explained that.
Right.
Plus the importance of a mouthpiece. What's the most important reason to wear a mouthpiece? Anybody know?
Don't bite your tongue off.
The prevention of concussions. Because when you're clamping down on a mouthpiece, your jaws, your muscles are tight, and it helps to prevent concussions. If you don't have a mouthpiece in and you just pop yourself upside the head on the helmet, it hurts. But when you got a mouthpiece in and you're clamping down, That's the that's the reason you see people wearing mouthpieces in basketball and other contact sports, because of the prevention of a concussion.
You know, I was a quarterback and had to call the plays, and it was tough to do it with I'd have to take my mouthpiece out so people could understand me, so you wouldn't talk with a lisp.
Yeah, a lot of people put them up there with their helmet, you know, on the bars with the helmet. A lot of people don't wear knee pads anymore. You know, a lot of coaches tell me, you know, their receivers, their skill players don't even want to wear them.
Oh yeah, you can look and see that.
It should be against the rules, though.
Yep.
They should make them wear
Well,
them. I don't agree with that.
One of the things they always checked for on a girdle is to make sure you had that tailbone pad. If you didn't have that, you had to put one on. When I was coaching,
Well, you watch players today that you're right, they don't wear half of them don't have knee pads. They don't have the girdles. They want to be as light and as fast as they can be. And the shoulder pads are smaller.
Yeah.
It's all about.
One thing though that's good, most of them do appreciate their teeth. You know, you sure go back to the old days, a lot of folks got their teeth knocked out, you know, before they had protection. But the mouthpiece is probably the most important thing you can have. And most people, I mean, I would say 99% of the players wear their mouthpiece because they know how important it is not to have your teeth knocked out.
Yeah, I remember being a little kid and having to bowl the mouthpieces and then bite into them so they fit well.
Exactly right. No question about it. We're having fun this morning on the eve of
Everything you wanted to know about jockey straps, you came to the right show.
Yeah.
well, I'd go to Walmart and buy
What
them
about the
out.
Gulf of Mexico? Is it pretty this morning? I saw it yesterday down here in Graydon. It looked beautiful.
It is beautiful. The water is not real clear this morning. It's a little bit dirty this morning, but a lot of people are down here for the 4th of July. And the main, all right, I'll ask every one of you, what is the main thing on somebody's menu for the 4th of July? What would you say the most important food on the 4th of July?
Probably ribs.
Barbecue?
Yeah, barbecue.
Right, barbecue would be one of them, but okay, something else?
Pork and beans.
Hot dogs, hamburgers.
It's pretty, pork and beans are pretty important, yeah, but not near the main item. Next,
Ice cream.
We're gonna have shrimp and grits.
Watermelon.
With some sausage and Grey Poupon.
Watermelon.
ice cream would be, especially homemade ice cream, would be a pretty important thing.
We used to always eat watermelon, and then we'd throw them over to the other lot, and then they'd grow watermelons on its own.
That's right. Watermelon is a tradition on a lot of. This is at my house. This is a 4th of July tradition. Is watermelon, but that's still not the main ingredient to feed folks on the 4th of July.
It's not barbecue ribs. It's not hamburgers. It's not hot dogs. It's,
Wait a minute. It might not be hamburgers, but it sure can be hot dogs.
Hot dog, hot diggity dog.
Hey, if you don't have hot dogs on the grill, and in fact, the hot dog is probably the most reasonably priced item you can put on the grill, and with a few potato chips and a little Coca-Cola, you got a pretty good food.
well, like you say, then throw in some baked beans and maybe some potato salad, and you got it. It's all you need.
Yeah.
Gotta have sauerkraut though, man.
Sauerkraut. Yeah.
People either love it or they hate it. Sauerkraut.
I love it.
Kelly's bacon, Kelly's sausage.
I like sauerkraut too, you know. But you know, you can't like going out to the fireworks and taking your family. You know, of course you can make you some sandwiches of bologna and ham and pineapple and banana, and whatever sandwiches you want to take out there, and you have a couple of lawn chairs and you're ready to go. And I can see
That's a long time to congregate from 6:30 to 9 to get ready for some fireworks. I wonder how they're gonna police that.
I know it. Where I would go over and pull back there behind the arena, the Trojan Arena, and go and walk down towards the practice field where Troy University practices, the grass part of it, and that would be a perfect place.
Tennis courts. Middle school parking lot.
You could let Jackson run, and he still would not get out of it.
Boy, they had fun last year, and you take your little lawn chairs. Lawn chairs have changed. Remember how they used to be that little cloth itchy thing that back when we were kids, and now they've got these little things that fold up that are perfect.
How many ant beds did y'all blow up as a kid with fireworks? We blew up a mini ant bed.
I've got 7:20 this morning. Let's take a short break. We'll
Okay.
be right back.
All right, we're going to take a break. Be right back. Thank you to our sponsors, including
Hey, Mike,
Troy
you still
Nissan.
there?
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Starting the first week of July, some TV channels are changing. The following channel numbers are changing and are moving to our digital-only platform. Customers will need a TV with a QAM tuner and must do a channel scan. C-SPAN 1 and 2 are moving during the first week of July, and BBTV and Troy University are moving during the second week of July. The following are the new channel numbers for our analog platform in all Troy cable regions and are moving in the third week of July. To see the new Troy Cable digital TV lineup, you will need to program your TV or the channels may not be viewable. To do this, go into the TV's menu and select Setup or Settings, then select an option similar to Channel Search or Auto Program, and the TV will automatically begin to search for all available digital channels. If your TV does not have a built-in QAM tuner or you are having other issues, please call any Troy Cable office for assistance. Thank you for being part of the Troy Cable family.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Here at Bill Jackson Chevrolet in Troy, we've been doing business the right way for 31 years. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
Been honest in everything we've discussed with them.
When they say Jackson satisfaction, they really mean it.
The Jackson satisfaction is real.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Georgia Southern. All right.
That's perfect school, though, if you want to run.
We are back on the air. Y'all didn't hear some of the conversations we have off the air. We have just as much fun when we're camera's not on us. I'm Bill Rice, Jr. Forrest Lee's here, and we are joined by the two Mike Amoses at their respective beach homes. And what were we going to talk? We've been talking about off the air recruiting, and Mike, you mentioned some fantastic running back in Dothan that's getting all these scholarship offers.
Yeah, I was reading an article, that they were talking about, really good prospects in the state of Alabama for 2021, and the number 7th ranked prospect is a running back from right down the road at the, new Dothan High School. I guess it's the Wolves, I believe is her name, but his name's Jalen White. 5'11", 185-pound running back, and he's already had 10 offers: Florida, Florida State, South Carolina, Louisville, Texas A&M, Memphis, Ole Miss, Nebraska, Mississippi State, Penn State. Has no offers yet from Alabama or Auburn.
the great running back out of Daleville last year that signed with Georgia Southern. I mean, he broke all kinds of records, rushing records, and neither Alabama and Auburn or Troy signed him. Georgia Southern got him, and he's liable to be a household word over there. I mean, you don't do what he did, rush for 400 yards and 500 yards. You don't just do those things and not be good, you know.
But Troy is loaded at running back this year, though. They've got so many running backs coming back.
In fact, Troy's got the two best running backs in the Sun Belt Conference coming back this year. You know, I think Troy has got a chance to be really good, but I'm worried so much about this COVID-19 virus that it could just kick it all out the window. You know, Troy in baseball was going to be good in baseball this year. Yep. And the virus just kicked it all out the window. And,
I don't know. They started off well, but, you know, they lost several in a row at the very end. They only finished 9-8, so they really struggled. They started the season 8-0. Only won a game.
Exactly right.
The team in baseball that, I mean, you got to feel for this coach. He was trying to finally rebuild Alabama. Was that Blake Bohannon guy. And, you know, Alabama, I don't know if people realized in baseball, was 17-1 before they ended the season.
Yeah, you're right.
That is phenomenal. Alabama's never had that kind of year.
Plus, we have 6 home games. Troy football.
Yeah. Something I want to mention, too, you know, you were talking about the kid, Jalen White, out of Dothan High School. But Charles Henderson has a kid, Mike. They say it's highly sought after.
Yeah, Forrest mentioned his name the other day. I think he's gotten offers from A&M, Tennessee, and South Carolina, and he's just going to be a 10th grader, so that's pretty unheard of.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Golly.
Rusal.
I have confirmed reports that there has been 10 players that have left Charles Henderson High School for Pike Liberal Arts.
Well, there's...
Have you heard that?
Yeah, that's confirmed. That's confirmed. I've heard.
Yeah.
Now, who the names are, I don't know.
Well, I've heard.
We don't need to be running names out there right now, but.
I mean, that's pretty big news to a program, though.
Huge, yeah.
It's good news for one program and bad news for the other.
Yeah.
You finish the mom and dad. You finish the mom and daddy saying, you know, little Johnny was supposed to start this year. What's going to happen, Coach? Now you bring this guy in.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, some other area schools, I think Highland Home, Goshen, and Pike County have lost players or have transferred as well. Whether or not we'll see opening day.
Oh, yeah. And of course,
I mean, what would you do right now, though? I mean, like, if you're Trevor Lawrence, I was talking to a buddy the other day, the Clemson quarterback, or, you know, Najee Harris at Alabama, Dylan Moses, the great linebacker at Alabama. I mean, guys that, you know, first-round grades, you know, going into this season. You know, if you start the season and then they delay it, or then they say, we're just going to play 8 games, and then you don't have a chance to win a national championship, I mean, I don't see how you get these guys to play. It'd be kind of just crazy if they played.
Well, it's like high school, collegiate basketball. They're talking about, one coach is suggesting just play your conference schedule starting in January. Yeah, and, you know, the NFL has gone from, they're fixed to announce 4 preseason games down to 2.
Yeah, that's all that they've already announced it.
And like you said earlier, high school football, who knows what we're going to do.
Yeah.
There's some high school programs stopping practice because of the COVID cases, and it's mostly in North Alabama. 2 or 3 schools have shut it down.
Well, you remember who got started the cancellation of sports seasons? It was Ivy League schools. Y'all remember that? So watch what the Ivy League, everybody seems to follow the Ivy League. So if the Ivy League schools say no football for us, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of other schools follow suit.
I don't think the SEC is going to pay attention to what the Ivy League school does.
I think
the SEC is going to try to play regardless, even if it's just teams in the SEC.
You know, I can see them waiting as far, and I've said this before, and everybody said, well, here you go again, but I can see them waiting as far as January 1st, starting the season in January, play football in January, February, and March, and then play basketball, college basketball in, say, midway in March, and then the rest of April and May, and play baseball in at the same time basketball is. You'd have baseball games in the afternoon and a basketball game at night.
Is it some of the high schools in other states that are thinking about flipping spring sports with fall? Just flipping them. Let the spring sports play in the fall.
Completely doing away with spring
And,
sports. I mean, not spring sports, but spring football.
I mean, I would much rather attend a sport outside than inside right now. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I mean, that's the thing about Alabama playing in the Dome to start the season in Jerry World. You know, I wonder if they would try to move that to an open air stadium.
Yeah. All right. Let's say you go to an Alabama or Auburn football game. How many of those fans outside the stadium before the game are actually going to go to the game? What percentage?
Well, you know, you can get 100,000 in Bryant-Denny, and then you'll probably have for a big game weekend like an LSU would have another, or an Auburn, you'd have another 150,000 that don't go to the games at tailgate.
Not 150,000.
50,000 maybe.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, big game weekends. I've lived in Tuscaloosa. I mean, I literally, when Alabama played LSU and played Auburn, you would not believe the amount of people that would be in Tuscaloosa tailgating throughout the week.
And like he said,
bringing in motorhomes.
We're fully content to stay outside the stadium and watch the game or go home. I've got friends of mine in Auburn that go out and tailgate at 8 o'clock in the morning, and if it's a 6 o'clock game, at 5 o'clock, they go home and watch it on TV.
Every bar in Tuscaloosa and restaurant in Tuscaloosa on game days are packed with people that don't go to games.
That don't have tickets to the game.
Shoulder to shoulder.
You know, we've talked a lot about social distancing and limiting the number of people in stadiums and all these different plans of logistics, how they might do football games. But don't you think that's kind of superfluous and just theater? Because, like you say, Mike, all these people that go before the game and after the game, are they going to be doing these things? They're going to be mingling and up close to hundreds and thousands of people. So why do you make them act one way in the stadium when they're not going to act that way outside the stadium? Is my question.
You're right.
Well, in Alabama,
It's going to come down to the fact that, I mean, I think when this is all said and done, everybody's probably had this virus. I mean, I think people started having this virus back in November. I think there's been plenty of football games and sporting events played with the coronavirus around. I mean, you know, it's one of those type things that I think you're going to see games that are going to start, you know, and I think eventually you'll see fans at some point during the season because the athletic departments just can't afford to have empty seats. So, I mean, you know, you just got to just look at yourself and just make your own decisions as adults. And I guess your family's decisions, if you want to go,
that's right.
They allow you to go, you ought to be able to go.
I'll tell you where it's going to be. It's going to be like that hospital, UAB, I went to a couple of weeks ago, where if you walk in, they're going to hit you in the forehead with a thing that's going to check your temperature within seconds. All right, if your temperature, let's say it's over 102, they're not going to let you in the game. You cannot get in the game with the temperature. But if it's 98.9 regular temperature, come on in. I think that's the way they'll do it. They would have to, or the lines would be so long they wouldn't be able to. I would see people not even seeing the game until at halftime.
Well, the officials on the Kentucky Derby, I don't know if y'all mentioned this the other day, but they've announced that they will have spectators. In the stands, the reserve seating has 60,000 that sits there. They're wanting to minimize that to 50%. All right, the other 90,000 in general admission, they want to reduce that to 60% of that 90. And but they said they will have spectators, and that's going to be run the 5th of September.
Oh, so that's already after the same week college football is supposed to start. You know what I'm watching is the Memorial Golf Tournament is supposed to be the first one where they're allowing fans. And if the sky doesn't fall, if they hold a golf tournament and actually have outdoor spectators, I think that'll be real positive and tell people, yeah, we can have a sporting event with fans and, you know, people don't die.
The granddaddy.
I mean, didn't NASCAR have 5,000 at Talladega?
I believe they did.
I'd heard that they were going to allow 5,000. You know, I didn't even watch Talladega. God, that place seats about 120,000, so I bet that looked funny. Well, I can't get them. I'd have to lose a caller.
When is the master's degree? When will it be?
November.
November. So and they'll try to do that outside. I mean, let everybody in on that.
Try to do it outside. They're not gonna have an indoor golf tournament.
No. With of November though, don't you think they'll be able to let everybody go?
Well, I'm going to make the same point that I've made.
Who knows anymore? You don't ever know what's gonna happen with this virus. It seems like.
I want to make the same point I've made a couple of times, that this is going on about 4 months of huge attention. I've still yet to hear of a high school athlete, a college athlete, or professional athlete who has died from COVID-19. I can't think of one that has been hospitalized.
They've got 4 youth hospitalized in Huntsville.
That's atypical.
One of them's an infant.
But
whether
so
there's other conditions.
You count up all the high school athletes, especially, and then college and pro. So that everybody's saying we're looking after the health and safety of our athletes and young people. They're going to be fine. You know, the only argument for canceling the games is that somebody the spectators are going to get it. They're going to be fine if they're, under age 60. But the real threat, right, is if they're going to take it home to their grandfather or great-grandfather and infect them.
Yeah. You look at Florida, these are scary statistics here. The last 7 days, there have been 5,000 new cases per day for the last 7 days. And then last Saturday, there was 9,500 new cases in Florida. And I'm sitting down here on the coast. You look at their numbers, especially their people that have died that's a very low number. It's just amazing that over here on the coastline, it's not near as bad as inland Florida and the Miami area down there.
I looked at the nursing home figures from the New York Times. 43% of all deaths have been in nursing homes and long care facilities, but in 12 states, more than 50% of the deaths had been in nursing homes. So isn't that something? In 12 states, the majority of your deaths have come just from nursing homes.
Yeah. We have not been allowed to go to churches. We have not been allowed to go to
churches are 50% open down here.
Well, but there's still a lot of people that are not open. First Baptist Church of Troy is not opened up yet. I know that. That's a pretty big church.
First Methodist is. We're
Methodist Church in Ogarth is not fully opened yet either.
Well, I belong to Goshen Methodist Church, and we have a 3-church charge: Henderson Methodist, Goshen Methodist, and Little Oak. Well, we've been meeting at Little Oak on Sundays at 8 o'clock in the morning, and there's shade trees all over the place. Everybody either sits in their vehicle or they get a lawn chair and sit out, and the preacher's got a speaker over there, and he issues the sermon, and everybody waves and goes on. Now, there might be a hug or two, and it's usually between family members who see each other all the time.
That's the way it should be outdoor services right now, in my opinion.
I'm finishing my book on the great influenza of 1918. I was looking at the pictures this morning, reading it. And the pictures you see back then are a lot like today. You see everybody in mask. And I was thinking about sports. Most college football teams played football in the 1918 season, but some did not. The University of Alabama did not have a football team in 1918. But so there you have a case of some will go ahead and play and some won't, and then some had smaller schedules. They'd normally play 9 games, and that year they played 7 games.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's news that we need to look at. No question about it.
You know what I think when I think of that, Mike, is I'm real interested in history, and one point of pride for Alabama fans is their all-time number of wins. If you take away all the games Alabama's forfeited, Alabama's just behind Michigan, has the most all-time wins. But Michigan had football a lot earlier than Alabama. Well, Alabama didn't play football in 1918 and 1943 in the middle of World War II. Most teams did play those 2 seasons. So Alabama could have had 2 more seasons, which would have been how many wins that extra wins Alabama could have had.
And that when the Army was so dominant in the mid-40s?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, so think of how many more wins Alabama would have had if you would have had to go through the Mike Shula era.
What schools have been affected more than anything, I would think, more than anything. Child care has been affected tremendously during all this movie going. I would think that industry has been hit harder than anybody as far as walk-in movie space. But at the same time, there's probably been more movies watched by Americans than ever before on TV.
And our movie theater in Troy is back open, isn't it? I think so.
Yeah, I think they're showing like old classic movies. I think I saw something on Facebook about that. You think we're going to see a relaunch of the drive-through movie theaters maybe now again?
Might be.
Now, we were talking about the old drive-in theater. Y'all talking about that the other day. When I was a little boy, I went with Mother to the drive-in here in Troy, and there was a beauty pageant.
That's right.
When I was a little kid. The Troy beauty pageant.
You know, at Easter, you know what? They
on the roof.
Let me tell you how times have changed. When you went to the Starlight Drive-In Theater during Easter, they would give you a biddy. You know what a biddy is, don't you?
A chick.
A little chicken, little bitty. And they would dye, listen to this, they would dye them different colors, purple, red, yellow, green. They would dye the biddies, and they would give you a biddy. And you took them, this is true now, you took the biddy home and you raised it. And some of them lived to be regular old chickens. I don't remember ever ringing one of them neck, but I'm sure a lot of them necks were eaten for supper on down the line. But can you believe that? Could you see any health departments allow that today?
Humane Society.
Well, Luverne had a drive-in theater.
You go to
Luverne
the
had
theater,
one.
they give you a little bitty chicken.
I mean, do they have a drive-in theater anywhere in Alabama right now? It's still open?
They got some in Leeds, I know, outside of Birmingham, where the outlet malls are. They have several, actually. They have about 5 or 6 different screens. If Troy wants to get their billboard that they donated to Troy University, they could just tear that down and move that back, and that could be your theater screen.
That was the theater screen at one time.
Isn't that the largest billboard in Pike County, the one they used to be the drive-through screen?
That's what I've heard.
That's right. It was for a long time. Now, there is a drive-in theater in a little town outside of Enterprise, located between Enterprise and Dothan.
Is it Wicksburg?
That little town.
It's still open and operating?
I think so.
If you can get to that little town, I'll give you a cup of coffee from
Wicksburg.
Forrest said Wicksburg.
Wicksburg has a drive-in theater, Mike.
When what? What did he say?
Have you been there?
I don't know if it's
I have.
going on or not. I don't know if it's still going on or not, but Wicksburg has a drive-in theater. Y'all don't remember Shock? There was a movie every Friday night. It was called Shock, Shock, and it was a scary movie. It came on TV at 12 o'clock at night on a Friday night. Can you believe that?
Yeah, they used to always have these creepy features on the weekend late at night, but they have different names.
Elvira the Witch.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'd watch them.
It is approaching a quarter till the hour, and we're going to take a short break. This is Today in L.A. Thank you, Ryan.
Well, we're still on the air. Let's see, Steve might not have heard that we're...
Yeah, Steve might have been in between. You're right.
Yeah, we're still on.
We want to thank our sponsors, Trojan.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Starting the first week of July, some TV channels are changing. The following channel numbers are changing and are moving to our digital-only platform. Customers will need a TV with a QAM tuner and must do a channel scan. C-SPAN 1 and 2 are moving during the first week of July, and BBTV and Troy University are moving during the second week of July. The following are the new channel numbers for our analog platform in all Troy cable regions and are moving in the third week of July. To see the new Troy Cable digital TV lineup, you will need to program your TV or the channels may not be viewable. To do this, go into the TV's menu and select Setup or Settings, then select an option similar to Channel Search or Auto Program, and the TV will automatically begin to search for all available digital channels. If your TV does not have a built-in QAM tuner or you are having other issues, please call any Troy Cable office for assistance. Thank you for being part of the Troy Cable family.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa know-how. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa know-how team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Here at Bill Jackson Chevrolet in Troy, we've been doing business the right way for 31 years. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
Been honest in everything we've discussed with them.
When they say Jackson satisfaction, they really mean it.
The Jackson satisfaction is real.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
Water park.
All right, we're back on the air, and Mike, you were telling us a little about this great new attraction we have down between New Brockton and Enterprise.
That's right, called Bama Slams, and it's a water park, and everybody is having a great time down there. It's only $10 per person, and their gates are open on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So they'll be open and have fireworks on the 4th of July, but you can pull your RV in there, or you can park your vehicle in there at the campgrounds and cook and have a great time. And then, of course, they have all kinds of food vendors indoors. But the fun part is the water park, and it is really, really nice at Bama Slam in New Brockton. And we appreciate them being a part of our show. I want to mention my good friends, the Normans that out in sunny South. I would drop by there. Boy, they've got the best breakfast in town, no question about it. They're great pork chops and they're wonderful sausage and eggs and grits. You have to get it to go, but it is really, really good. And they open also for lunch. And Trent Norman and all those great folks there, Jim Tom, my good friend, have been in business a long time. Great prices on other items, and especially gasoline. That's where most people in Troy and Pike County buy their gas, is at sunny South.
I do.
I got a hold of one of them pork chops the other day.
Good slab of ribs, and I tell you, one of my favorite places to buy meat is at Piggly Wiggly, and they've got those slabs of ribs, and it's so easy to cook. And man, you know what goes good with ribs is get some mixed greens or some turnips and add some of that to a barbecue meal. It is wonderful. And then I told y'all,
I like a barbecue sandwich with slaw on top of it. Some people don't like slaw, and some people do like slaw, but I like the slaw on top of my sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I love grated slaw with French dressing on it, and then add some bacon bits. Add some bacon bits to it.
Yeah, I should have got you some John's dressing when I was in Birmingham the other day.
Try this. On your coleslaw, have fresh cabbage, chop it up real good or buy it or whatever. I put mine in the blender with water and then put it in a colander. Okay. But add a little bit of mayonnaise and a little bit of chopped, real fine pineapple and mix it up. That is good. The first time I've had that was in El Paso, Texas, at the Great American Land and Cattle Company, located on Alabama Street.
Hey,
when I went to Fort Bliss.
What's the name of it again?
The Great American Land and Cattle Company. It's located on Alabama Street in El Paso, Texas.
Have you done it enough where you perfected it now? You know how
I can do it. They spray the steaks with vermouth.
Vermouth?
Lightning here. It looks like it's fixing to rain down here at the beach, but people are starting to put up tents and get ready to set up camp. Like we used to always say, Mike, a lot of folks are setting up camp here at the beach.
Yeah, I can't imagine how early tomorrow morning I'm going to have to get out there and set up. It's going to be ridiculous. I'm sure people are going to be out there as soon as the sun comes out trying to get a spot.
Is that lake still clean and pretty?
Oh, yeah, it's crystal clear. Actually, the Gulf of Mexico is, it's actually flowed in so far back that the lake almost looks like the ocean now. It's amazing.
But I still think
I feel bad. I feel bad for the blue crab. The blue crab out there. They're tortured by young kids with little nets. I don't know how many make it through this time.
Well, at night here at my place here at night, you just see for miles. It seems like that people with with their flashlights out there and the nets trying to. And the thing about it, once they get them, what are they going to do with them?
I know it.
Have you ever boiled a crab rice? Have you ever done that?
Nope. I hear they're really good, though.
One of the hardest things to do, now Steve's laughing up in the box, but one of the hardest things to do is take a crab and try to get some meat out of it.
I know it.
You got to know what you're doing to take a crab and get that crab meat out of it.
When I was a little boy,
And I'm sure Steve laughing because he's been doing that all his life.
Yep, Steve can do it.
my mother worked for Arthur Coker in housing back in the 70s. And there was a place down there around Destin called Francesca's. It was on the beach. And you could open up your door, and there was the beach. And we would go, we went crabbing. And Mother boiled, I remember having boiled crabs.
Mm-hmm.
And but that was in the late 60s,
I can't
early
even.
70s.
I can barely handle lobster, and I've only had it a couple of times. But boy, people that love lobster love it, don't they?
But I tell you what, and don't get me wrong. Listen, the only real good part of
Dad, your favorite thing in the world is crab claws. You love them more than anything.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, I do love crab claws, but I also like lobster tails, and really that's about all you really need to get is if you could go somewhere where they say all the lobster tail you can eat.
Go.
When I went to Maine and Boston, there's signs everywhere. It says all the lobster you can eat for $66. Hey, I mean that's what a delicacy it is. All the lobster you can eat for $66.
My brother.
I tell you what you can find down here is like some really grilled and seared like scallops down here. That's one thing that I kind of forget about. I mean, I love shrimp. I eat shrimp all the time, but man, if a guy can prepare some really big scallops on the grill or sear them really good, that's some of the best food you can ever eat to me.
Well, I tell you what's even better, wrap it in bacon. Wrap the scallops in bacon is wonderful. It really is.
Yeah, this show is sponsored. This show is sponsored by Buddy's Seafood Market. 2 locations, one on Panama City Beach at the Y, and one in Seagrove Beach.
You know, I'm happy that all these restaurants and beach businesses are getting some revenue this year. You know, think of all the revenue they lost. So it's going to be a terrible season for them, but at least they're able to recoup some of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I'm in the wine business, and I sling a little wine every now and then, and the restaurants I work with down here are experiencing record numbers, even though they're only at 50%, occupancy as far as inside. They've all have moved tables outside, and some have put tents out. So you can have as many people as you possibly can outside as long as you're 6 feet apart. And then they're to-go orders. I think that's what people don't realize now. To-go orders, I think, from here on out, at every restaurant, every establishment, is just going through the roof. So they're making more money now than they ever have.
Good.
I think so too, and I drove through Taco Bell last night. I love tacos. Went to Taco Bell last night, and let me tell you that you can't go inside. But let me tell you this: the line. I bet the line was a half a mile long to get into Taco Bell. They're making more. You're right, Mike. They're making more money than they ever have.
Yeah, the only bad thing about tacos, though, Dad, is how in the world can you drive down the road and eat a taco? You have to stop and eat it.
We've gotten big into tacos in the last couple months at our house.
Listen, let me tell you, I do wait and get home before I eat, but I make sure I got some cold beverage in my freezer now. It's the difference in what you call cold and cold. Put your favorite item in the freezer department of your refrigerator and make it ice cold.
You know what's really selling right now, according to several friends and internet research, is big freezers for your garage, or all these preppers are getting food and freezing it. A lot of people have more than one. What would you call them? Stand-up freezers. Yeah. And I'm told that you can't get them at a lot of stores anymore. Yeah. The big freezers.
But Rice, let me tell you though, Rice, you know the big difference here, and everybody needs to hear this. How many wives cook? You know, I've got good friends of mine that they just live out of their refrigerator. I looked at the dates on a Boston butt the other day that came out of my. This is a good time to go through your freezer, you know, and start eating the things you've been freezing. Well, it said November of 2018. I don't care if it's been frozen that long. I'm not going to eat anything that's been around since 2018.
That's right.
It's been frozen or not.
Well, y'all have two refrigerators. You have one upstairs, one downstairs. So the one downstairs you probably never can go through.
I know, but what I'm saying, this is a good time though for people to go through their freezer. They said, "Oh, I forgot I froze that. Let's have it tonight for supper." You know.
You know, people that are deer hunters, they'll kill a deer and then have somebody dress it, and then they'll eat that deer for months.
Mike thinks that deer sausage is the best sausage known to man.
I mean, the stuff we get out of Fayette, Alabama. I mean, Millport, Fayette area. I mean, it's the jalapeno deer sausage, and some of it has jalapeno and cheese in it. And on a grill, of course, you got to have some mustard. I like Grey Poupon to dip it in, but that's one of my favorite things. Yeah.
You know, Kelly Sausage is still out there. They're building a brand new building in New Brockton that's been bought out by a big company, and Kelly Sausage is still around. And let me just ask you this, Bryce and Forrest. You know, I'm cooking a steak, and I'm going to throw out a few lengths of sausage and grill the sausage while I'm waiting on the fire and wait for the steak to cook. And I started eating that sausage, and fill this item in. You grill that sausage, and you get that sausage and a piece of a loaf bread, and you stick that sausage on top of that bread. And then what do you put on it, Rice? What do you put on it?
I'm with Michael. I like some fancy mustard, not regular mustard, some Grey Poupon or some Golden's mustard.
Okay, and that's on top of that link sausage?
Well, I just eat it with I just kind of dip my sausage in it, but I guess it would be good with bread, though.
Yeah, you grab that piece of loaf bread and you put that sausage on it. What else, Forrest? What else do you pour on it? Or what do you pour on yours?
It's usually mustard, but sometimes I like it just plain.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Dad's going to go ahead and tell you what he does. Dad is on white bread.
He makes it better. And
he does honey.
Oh.
I've said this so many times. You get that piece of link sausage and that fresh loaf bread, a sliced loaf bread, and you get a bottle of honey and put on top of that sausage. And believe
me. Believe it don't. Try this. Get thick cut bacon and grill thick cut bacon on your grill. And it is crisp as you want to believe. And I think Bart Snyder enlightened me on that.
And what do you do with the bacon? You put it on your steak, or
no? I mean, you just grill bacon on your grill.
But doesn't it shrivel up pretty quick? But the thicker the better. You grill it if it's thick bacon.
If it's thick, but as long as your flames aren't too high, but it does well.
I don't even have a grill since I moved back to Troy. I don't have a good place to grill. But when I lived in Pike Road, I had a gas grill, and I cooked out at least once or twice a week on that gas grill.
Y'all prefer gas or charcoal, Michael?
I like gas.
You got a spare grill, Mike?
I got a good grill that I'll bring.
Yeah, you ever been to their house, Bill?
they got. He's got more sets of golf clubs than the Ping Company.
Well, I'll say this: I've gotten into this golf club thing down there. We have some honey holes as far as some thrift stores down here around Santa Rosa Beach and Destin that basically give you bags of golf bags and golf clubs. Callaway and
I know it.
TaylorMade. Whatever is hot out there. I guess people have so much money down here they just throw their old clubs away.
It's almost embarrassing how much.
Yeah, I got a full set of Callaway irons and drivers for and a bag for $10.
Oh my goodness!
You're right. These rich folks there, when they sell their condominium, they don't even go back to it. They just say, just throw all that in, give it away to some charity.
You talk about something that loses value. Golf clubs would be way up there. You spend $1,000 on them, and like Mike said, you can pick some great ones up for $10. The other thing is a hardback book. You'll go to the bookstore and spend $30 on the bestseller. You go to any little estate sale or library sale, and they're going to be selling same hardback books for 10 cents, 20 cents a book.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You're talking about beach chairs? You got beach chairs earlier. There's a place on here where you can get beach chairs for $1. They're perfectly fine beach chairs.
And you wonder why anybody pays the regular price, for things. You can get bicycles, $300 and $400 bicycles for $20.
Watercolor is a huge resort down here. It's right next to the seaside. One of the ritzier resort areas.
The deal is there.
And they had about 100 watercolor bikes they gave to some thrift store down here. And these are really good bikes. And they were selling for as cheap as $5.
Wow.
Yeah,
with the economy like it is, I think I've seen a lot more people riding bikes recently. Have y'all noticed that?
Exercise.
Well, let me tell you the key to riding bikes.
I've seen about 100 this morning.
Yeah. Well, Mike knows. Ladies and gentlemen, not long ago, probably no longer than 2 or 3 years ago, where I would ride my bike 20 miles a day sometimes.
Really?
But you know why? Bicycle riding is so big down here at the beach than it is at home. You can't hardly find a place in Troy, Alabama, level enough to ride a bicycle.
Yeah.
Troy is hilly.
And one of the best trails is on the Troy campus, and you stay up on
flat ground.
Down here, you got flat ground, and if the wind is at your back, you can go forever, and it's just a great ride. But the only problem is when you got to go back against that wind, and it gets pretty tough.
Why is, I've noticed that Troy is the last place heading south that is really hilly. A lot of, you look, even Montgomery's not that way, and then you get south of Troy.
Ozark's got a pretty good hill going up from Ozark, but you're right.
Maybe Greenville might have.
In Little Troy, Alabama, is 550 feet. That's really high.
Oh yeah.
For a town that south.
Yeah, that's right.
When I went to Blue Ridge, Georgia was in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and their elevation was 1,800 feet. But Troy's 2 hours from the beach, and it's like 550 feet.
When the founders came and found Troy and Pike County, right? What did they name Troy as?
Deer Stand Hill. That's right.
Deer Stand Hill. There was a hill, and they went up that hill and they saw a deer, and they called it Deer Stand Hill. Those folks in Arkansas, in Ozark, y'all know what happened there now, I know. When the wagon train circled around and all the folks were out cooking and playing, and the kids were playing. Well, one of the kids got away from the wagon train, and they couldn't find him. So all these guys went out looking for him, and they said, it's the little kid's name was Zark. And they said, Zark.
It says Montgomery's elevation is 240 feet.
Troy has got more elevation than Montgomery by far.
240 on the.
Greenville must have some elevation change because if you play their Cambrian Ridge golf course, it's like you're in North Carolina or Virginia.
You're exactly right. If you went behind where I live on Crow Hill and see how deep that terrain is, it'll surprise you.
Yeah.
And going up the hill, the Crow Hill is one of the steepest places around. Of course, everybody says Thrill Hill, and I know Rice has been up and down Thrill Hill.
440 Greenville.
I lived on the corner of Maple and Pine for a year with my in the Starling's house.
But Forrest Lee probably couldn't even tell you where Thrill Hill
Yes,
is.
Yes, I can.
Everybody in Troy knows where Thrill Hill is.
You know where it is, Forrest?
Yes, sir, I do.
And if you think about it, that's a pretty steep hill.
And it keeps going up past Murphy Street. You know, everybody sometimes does the roller coaster thing and goes real fast up and down it.
Yeah.
My kids love that, but you got to stop at Murphy Street. But that hill keeps going up to the Episcopal Church.
Greenville's elevation says 440.
But you know
440.
what we ought to do? We ought to change, the city ought to change the name of Thrill Hill to Steve Flowers Hill.
God,
I thought his name was already Tree. I thought his name was Tree Flowers.
Yeah, well, how many times have you seen Steve Flowers walking up Thrill Hill?
boy, Steve Flowers is. Somebody told a funny story about Steve. He lived in Montgomery for a while, but he also has his place in Troy. Tree Flowers. I think this might have been one of Bill Blunt's kids.
Yeah.
And they would come to Troy to visit their grandparents, and they would see Steve walking. And one time they were in a neighborhood in Montgomery, McGee Estates, and there was Steve walking in that neighborhood. And one of the Blunt kids said, "Dang, Dad, look, Mr. Flowers walked all the way from Troy to Montgomery."
How about Walking Wendell Mitchell? When's the last time you heard that?
Walking Wendell Mitchell, yeah, he walked all over his district, didn't he?
Yeah, that's
Blue
right.
Urban.
Exactly right. Of course, if you're eating corn on the cob this weekend, and you can only do it with one piece of corn at a time, but dig that corn on the cob with all in the shove, put it in the microwave for 3 hours. 3 minutes and 50. 3 minutes.
3 hours. That microwave's going to blow up.
Yeah, need microwave.
Put it in your microwave for 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Take it out, shuck it. The chuck goes completely off. And let me just tell you, get a little butter and some pepper. And let me tell you something, nothing's better than a good piece of corn on the cob at the 4th of July. That is another one of the main.
That's a 4th of July staple, yeah.
Hey, Mike, this question's for Bill and for Michael. When you go to the corn patch and you take the ear off the stalk, what is it called?
I don't have no idea. You're talking to the biggest city boy in the world.
You pick peas, but what do you do to corn?
You shuck corn.
You pull.
Oh, you pull?
You pull corn. And on the front page of the Dothan Sports section, they're fixing to build a brand new athletic facility at Wallace College. 990 square foot hitting softball baseball facility in honor of Johnny Oppert. So I wish Troy needs Troy University. We need a indoor facility. Wouldn't you
we
think?
talked about
It'd be
that.
the
Yeah.
next.
They got to have one for football one day.
Exactly.
Well, I thought the Armory would be a good spot for that, but then we've solved the problem now. We've given everybody the idea that where that Armory needs to be a hotel and convention center.
That's right.
Like Alabama and Auburn have on their campus. So we're going to have to put our indoor football facility somewhere else.
Well, they got so much room on all those practice fields. Surely they could put it around there somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, Troy's got the most practice field I've ever seen.
Let me tell you, one of the sad things is something I didn't mention the other day, just a while ago. You talk about churches, but funerals. I was at that funeral yesterday, and everybody had to sit away from each other. It just makes the inconvenience that
Well, you think about that, Mike. The funerals were restricted to 10 people for a long time, I think. But families need friends and loved ones to comfort them at this time, and that's been denied to them. See, I don't like a lot of these restrictions we're under. That's just kind of something you can't put a price tag on or figure, but yeah, all the funerals you've had where people couldn't go and pay their respects to the family.
Yeah. I really believe this, right, that everybody needs to wear these masks to protect them, not them, only themselves, but the people out there, At least it makes me feel good if I'm in the grocery store where everybody has the face mask. And, of going about the business and buying the groceries and then getting on out there and going on home, you know.
Well, especially, you know, if it gives you peace of mind, that's another reason to wear it. I hope we don't end up having fist fights over the mask issue, which I think we're going to have murders over the people that are wearing masks and the people that aren't, and getting in an argument. Yeah, it's coming that close to it already.
There's already people getting arrested for not wearing them into, you know, different locations that require them. I mean, that happens all the time now.
I have a friend.
I mean, the big issue for me though is, I mean, like the kids and situations for our schools and stuff. I mean, are they going to have to provide every single kid a mask to wear throughout schools? I mean, is that going to be required as well, or you know, because kids aren't, you know, is likely to come down with a virus? I mean, you know, when we started preschool, the kids, you know, our kids, they just checked their temperature, and the teachers didn't wear a mask, and you know, none of the kids wore masks. But I don't know if that will change in public schools. I don't know.
Well, the Pediatrics Association, from what I've read, there's an association of pediatric doctors, and they recommend letting the kids go back to school with not worrying about social distancing or mask. They think it's much better for the kids to be at school and their health than to not be.
There's no way a kid will keep that on all day.
No.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to replace it every day.
Yesterday, Pike County has gone to 396, so we're right at 400 cases. Montgomery is killing everybody with 3,700 cases in Montgomery alone, and Mobile, of course, we were looking at it yesterday. They're having a real battle with Montgomery. They're at 3,634. And then, of course, Jefferson County, our largest county, is now at 4,210. Now, they've gone skyrocketing. You know what the key is? They're getting people that are having, getting the shot and find out if they got the disease, you know.
Well, they also had thousands of different people riding up in Birmingham area as well, so I don't know if that has anything to do with the protests and the rioting going on.
The key still is testing. I think testing still is important. When you think, right?
And then I want to, once you test and get a positive, I want these same people to get antibody tests, you know, every couple of weeks, so we'll know how long, if you do have antibodies, how long those antibodies last. That is a key question.
That would be important.
And so it's best to test people that you know have had the swab test and tested positive, like all these football players that are getting these tests now. Let's follow up for the next couple of months and do antibody tests and see if these antibodies fade, which I think they do after a couple of months, or, you know, if some people keep them. That's huge for possible vaccine as well.
Well, some colleges aren't releasing the number because of privacy.
Yeah, they always use that privacy excuse. I think it's lame.
And
what I mentioned, our good friends at Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram Trucks on the bypass, they got the largest sale in their history going on right now. Their 4th of July sale. Jason Gregory and his staff is ready to do business with you. Remember, nobody beat the Premier deal. Nobody, and we appreciate them so well. And this is the eve of the 4th of July. The city of Troy and all its offices will be closed tomorrow. The eve of the 4th of July will be gone. The Troy K will be closed. A 3-day holiday, man. Don't you know? A lot of folks take for granted the fact that like some folks get the week off, can take off if they want to, but 80% of the people out there are working people, or 70% are working people that just think a day off is wonderful. So this is just like Thanksgiving or Christmas. You got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday holiday. Wear your mask. Don't be caught outside your premises without a mask on. I really believe that.
Well, if you're going to watch live sports this weekend, you've got the Rocket Mortgage Classic in Detroit, Michigan. It's already started this morning, and Dad's favorite golfer, Ricky Fowler, is in the lead at 400 after 6 holes.
Wow.
Let me tell y'all a story that y'all are not going to believe, but it's the truth. Johnny Williams and I went to the Final Four basketball tournament in Detroit. All right, we stayed across in Canada at the casinos over in Canada.
You stayed in Windsor, Canada.
Windsor, Canada. And coming back to the game the next day, we're coming back to go to the game. We are in a long line, and we go through security to get back in from Canada to the United States. A guy comes up with a rifle, and
an M16.
An M16, and tells Johnny Williams to get out of the car. Johnny Williams, the associate athletic director of the University of Alabama, they handcuffed him. We're talking about a guy, a big guy, Johnny Williams. They handcuffed him and start throwing him around. Then they tell me to put my hands on the console and not move them. Hey, all we're doing is coming back from Canada to go to a basketball tournament. Johnny tells me, he said, I'm the associate athletic director of the University of Alabama. That didn't mean anything. They told me not to take my hands off the dashboard, and I was scared to death. They had a guard, a guy with a gun, right outside my door, and in a minute said, "Oh, we're sorry. We were looking for John Williams, but he was an African American." And of course, they made that mistake and found out that they were looking at the wrong Johnny Williams.
Another classic Mike Amos story.
Well, they finally allowed us to go in, but it was scary.
Yeah, that is scary. Didn't you? You've had a lot of brushes with greatness. Didn't you talk to George Steinbrenner at a gas station in Troy one time?
No, that was in Ocala, Florida. That's a true story. He was actually in an old Jeep, like Wrangler, and the love bugs were so bad at a gas station. We pulled up at the gas station, and Steinbrenner's out there with a hose. They had a hose at the gas station spraying the love bugs. And we were stopped to get gas, and I turn over there and I tell Dad, I was like, I think that's George Steinbrenner. And of course, as soon as I say that, Dad yells, Mr. Steinbrenner, I've been a Yankee fan all my life. And then he comes over there and starts talking to us.
The reason I brought that up is that people can make mistakes, and they made a huge mistake there. We didn't do anything about it, but it scared the living daylights out of us. And it turned out to be an entirely different person from a different place in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
We were there to watch a basketball game, but they scared the living daylights out of both of us.
That is scary.
Yeah. The Border Patrol put the M16 on people crossing the border and having the wrong people is pretty bad. But the Steinbrenner story is really funny, though. He really came over there and talked to us for like several minutes. I mean, it was just as nice as he could be. I was shocked.
Yeah, he was nice, no question about it. Of course, it is the 4th of July. We're so involved with our flag, and of course, no parades normally the parade in North Pike County.
Aren't you glad we're having our fireworks? I bet a lot of cities have canceled their fireworks.
Well, they have
so that ought to help Troy's attendance. That maybe people that had fireworks in other communities have canceled them, so maybe they'll come to Troy's.
Yeah,
11 scored 10 years ago.
With the virus, a lot of people are going to probably stay at home, and do their own cooking and so forth. But we hope that a lot of folks will get out and what they call keep your distance. What is it called? It's called social distancing. Distances. So that's what we want everybody to think about this holiday. And again, it's great to be out and be able to.
Have y'all read any stories about this social distancing and the 6 feet? and the background of how that came to be? I think just one person came up with this and just kind of arbitrarily picked the number 6 feet. And so now we're all trying to stay 6 feet away.
The Alabama Department
Anything to do with how far a sneeze goes? I don't know.
I guess there's some logic behind it. Yeah.
The Alabama Department of Public Health, has a map color-coded now of how moderate or high your county is. Crenshaw County, Geneva, Hale, and Colbert are low risk. Moderate Pike County, Bullock, Macon, and Montgomery are all moderate, but high risk. You have Coffee, Covington, Conecuh, Henry. Very high is Dallas, Autauga, Elmore, Lee, Russell, and Barber. Montgomery is listed as a moderate risk according to this map that was published yesterday.
What is
today's paper?
I look at the percentages of the positive cases to your population. What's the population of Pike County? I would say 32,000, but that might have been.
That's about right.
So if we got almost 400 cases, so you would have. It's a little over 1% of the population of Pike County had a positive test.
I'll tell you one county that surprises me every time I look at it is Butler. Greenville, 604 cases in Butler County compared to 400 in Pike County. It surprises me a little bit there.
You got a calculator, you can divide the number of cases into that and get the percentage.
What's the cases?
Exactly right.
300.
I tell you one thing, but also
90.
we had to get on this, and all of us are playing with fireworks. Fireworks can be extremely dangerous, and we got to be real careful. And don't let little kids go out and play with fireworks; they could get hurt.
Yeah, I've always been scared of them, and I won't let my kids do it. I think one time I had a firecracker go off in my fingers, and that was enough.
I did too.
All right, you heard of these two things. One of them was a cherry bomb. Do you know what a cherry bomb is? Well, don't let one blow up in your hand and burn it.
1 point.
And then another one is a TNT, those little silver ones.
1.17, 1.2.
What are all those little white things that just pop? Those are safe for kids, aren't they? Yeah. The little things you just throw on the ground, they pop.
Yeah.
I think that.
The only thing that I let y'all do was sparklers.
You let us do way more than that, or the neighbors let us do way more than that.
Yeah, of course.
We were blessed growing up. We had a great fireman, Tommy Outlaw, as our next door neighbor. So if we ever set the grass on fire, he would go put it out.
Forrest just did some calculations for me. If we have 390 approximate cases in Pike County, and the population of Pike County is 33,114, that's about 1.2% of the population is tested positive. So that means that 98.8% has not tested positive. Now my question is, do you think that, I have to think that a lot more than 1.2% of Pike Countyans have had this virus?
Yeah. Well, let me ask this. Don't you think it's we ought to be responsible enough to at least get tested, don't you think?
Well, it's good.
If you feel like you've had it, I mean, I wouldn't like to go if somebody's like really sick and really needs to get tested instead of you, and you take a spot in the line. But I mean, you feel like you're showing symptoms, I would.
Well, the main symptoms of this, one of them is shortness of breath. If you got shortness of breath, you need to go see a doctor. And the other one is a fever. If you have a high fever for 2 or 3 days of over 102 degrees, you need to go see a doctor.
Hey, I'm continuing my research, Mike, for my future stories on COVID, and I found an interesting statistic regarding symptoms. I'm looking at the case of the USS Theodore Roosevelt. Remember they had a bad outbreak on that aircraft carrier?
Yeah, well, that's right.
They did an antibody study in April, about 20 or 30 days after they finally got off the ship in Guam. And I'm looking real hard at that antibody study. But they said the most telling symptom for people that got the disease was the loss of a sense of smell and taste. If you had that symptom, you were 10 times more likely to have actually had the virus. And so I maintain that I think I had it on January 25th is where my symptoms started. But one of my symptoms was I lost my sense of taste. Things tasted weird or strange to me for those 2 weeks. So if you get if you're sick and suddenly you can't smell or stuff tastes weird to you, that's a strong sign that you have COVID-19.
Also in the Dothan paper.
They've added to the symptoms. If you want to hear the new ones, they've got more they've added. Symptoms may appear after 2 to 14 days after exposure to the virus. people with these symptoms may have COVID-19, so they've added a lot of things as well. It's because they've done more research and have talked to more people that have had it. So now the symptoms are fever or chills, cough, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, fatigue, muscle or body aches, headache, new loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion or runny nose, nausea or vomiting, and then diarrhea is also a symptom now.
Well, all right, everybody, y'all need to head to the doctor because all of us have said some of those symptoms.
Yeah, that is true. They're all very common.
No, seriously, those are the new added ones. And then looking for emergency warning signs of COVID-19. If somebody's showing any of these signs, seek emergency medical care immediately. Is trouble breathing, persistent pain or pressure in the chest, inability to wake or stay awake, blush lips or face, and nude confusion.
You know, the shortness of breath is a serious one for the worst cases. You know, the story I wrote, the guy, he went to the hospital emergency room, and they you can test your blood oxygen levels with a little finger device, and his was 84%. If it gets below 92, that's bad, but it later fell into the 70s. And the doctor asked him, he said, "How are you even talking to me? Or did you walk in here?" And then they do x-rays, and if you've got bilateral pneumonia, that's bad. And they can tell from your x-rays, you know, what's going on in your chest. And if you've got a bad case, your x-rays are going to go from pretty normal to very scary in like a day or two. So
we should be very conscious about it. So if you're out at the fireworks, wear your mask. Is that right? At the fireworks?
You know, I keep saying that it's, you know, most people are asymptomatic and or don't have mild symptoms. That's true. But for the people that get it and have a severe case, it is bad, 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 scary news.
All right, Bryce, you and Morris Lee are welcome to have breakfast on me at Birds this morning. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I got Jackson Rice has a dentist appointment at Charles Simpson Child Health Center. But maybe I got to get him there at 9:30. You think we can?
Leave right now. Go.
So how old is Jackson to go to the dentist? We have never taken our kids to the dentist yet. How old do they have to be?
They started pushing us when they're about 2 or 3, but he's 4, and I think this might be his second dentist trip.
Okay, so maybe when my little one gets to 4, I'll take her to the dentist.
Probably, you know, they're gonna lobby you to try to get them to do it at 3, but I bet you would be okay doing it.
I went to the dentist the other day for.
This weekend, we're going to go off the air, right? This weekend, you're going to have a picnic with your children out at the stadium. Is that right?
That's right. We're going to get these lawn chairs we've talked about. We're going to get a little cooler and maybe some Cokes and some water and maybe something for Dad that's a little stronger. Don't tell anybody. And some chips.
Make sure you clean up after the.
I will. I am the world's biggest on don't litter. You know, when I worked at the Chamber of Commerce, I was big into the anti-litter campaign and clean up Pike County and adopt a mile. So yeah, everybody. What did Bob Barker say? Please get your pets spayed and neutered. I say, please don't litter. Troy's campus is so beautiful, but you walk in some parts of it by the lagoon, you see litter in it, and it just breaks.
You know, Troy University was going through a stage of its greatest ever university, and then this virus came and hit us, but they're still being strong as they can be to have their university not miss a beat. So our congratulations go out to all the people that make Troy University a great university. Of course, it is the 4th of July. Be safe and be patriotic. Wear your red, white, and blue, and let's stand up for America.
Hey, let's hold on, Mike. We'll go off there.
Yeah, let's do. table. Happy 4th of July.
Awesome. That was a good finish.
Hey,
All right,
what,
Shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly. Local since forever.
A person